High Crimes, a Copper Frog story. Connor Creedy was having a bad day. His first problem was that he'd become famous. The kind of famous where people shout at you on the street. His second problem, what really ruined his day, were the two federal agents staring across the interrogation room. Detective Jimmy Sparks was new in the Honesty Crimes Unit. A year out of law school, they gave him a shot in a podunk southeastern field office. He'd never performed an interrogation, although he knew to let the suspect talk first. But Connor Creedy wasn't talking. He hadn't looked up, hadn't touched the water Jimmy offered him. Thought you had a tale to tell. Detective Biggs slid Connor's social media timeline across the table. 16 posts about your so-called encounter with Bigfoot. That's 16 counts violating 18 U.S.C. 1041. False statements to the public using an electronic device. Each count carries a 3-year minimum, so that makes a long damn time over Bigfoot, Jimmy said. Sasquatch, Connor muttered. Biggs raised an eyebrow. Gesundheit? It means hairy man in Halkomelem. People originally called him Bigfoot because of his tracks. I didn't see tracks. I did see hair, so I called him Sasquatch. Connor, we don't want to lock you up, Jimmy said. We took an oath to uphold the truth. We let this slide next it's flat earth and then vaccines kill people. Before long, politicians are pulling facts out of their ass on the debate stage. We can handle this another way. Jimmy slid Connor a standard form, plea of delusion. You sign that? No prison. Just talk with the counselor about your trouble separating fantasy from reality. Plus a discreditation in your file so people won't listen next time you go on your bullshit. I want an attorney. The detectives stepped back into their office. Biggs lit a cigar with a low grumble. Well, Sparky, there goes our clearance rate. He suckered 40 people into wandering around Little River Canyon for 2 days, Jimmy said. We can't charge him? We got ourselves a stone-cold hoax. It's his word against no one's. How are we supposed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Bigfoot isn't in that forest? Come on. No rational person would believe he saw Bigfoot. Problem is, Biggs took a puff of his cigar. Where would we find any rational people? Jimmy shrugged. Hey, mind if I cut out? Sure. Where are you off to this weekend? Jimmy grabbed his boots and cargo pants. The scene of the crime. The sun was already setting when Jimmy arrived at Little River Canyon. Out here, something was always scurrying, always rustling. The constant hum of the waterfall ever present, the canyon's own cosmic background radiation. He picked up a plastic bag from Party Galaxy and a recruitment poster for park rangers. Could be a good gig if the Bureau booted him for not raising his clearance rate. Something rustled in the bushes, something big. Jimmy flipped on his flashlight and crept toward it, a hand on his sidearm. He pushed aside the bushes with his flashlight. A great ape shambled around the clearing. Or someone dressed as one. The child-sized gorilla costume barely covered his belly. The kid ripped off his gorilla mask when Jimmy shined the flashlight at him, revealing matted hair that was either a failed attempt at dreadlocks or just disdain for shampoo. I'm filming a YouTube video. A YouTube video. Jimmy lowered the flashlight. You weren't out here Wednesday, were you? You mean the day Connor Creedy saw the Sasquatch? Yeah, I was. The kid let out a dramatic gasp, eyes widening. Hey, you don't think... No, I don't think. Because Connor Creedy saw the Sasquatch on Tuesday. He also reported that the Sasquatch had orange fur. No way to confuse that with the black fur of your gorilla suit. Also, Jimmy reached into the Party Galaxy bag. I found your receipt. You bought that suit this morning. I was trying to help Connor. Those discreditations sting, man. I've got 5 in my file and can't get a job anywhere. I bet. Sit your ass down. Jimmy dragged him back to the campsite. You're going to tell me something useful about Connor Creedy, or I'm taking you in. Let's start with your name. Oates, with an E. Like Holland Oates. Okay, Oates with an E. How do you know Connor? He chills here with me and some other folks, Oates said. Hey, you're not a narc, right? Jimmy shook his head. Honesty Crimes Unit. I'm not after dope heads. Cool. Oates slung a paper bag full of ground-up leaves from his backpack along with a pack of rolling papers. Seriously? Jimmy tossed the bag into the campfire. The narcotics sizzled with a bitter odor as the flames swallowed them. You said you weren't a narc! That was going to pay my rent! Talk, or the Bureau of Prisons will be paying it. Did Connor mention the Sasquatch to you? He was one of the people talking about it. Jimmy raised an eyebrow. One of? How come no one else talked online? Not a lot happens around here. People come because they want something special in their life, so we talk. Sometimes it's Sasquatch, or it's UFOs, or the Ghost Highway. It's all supposed to stay around the campfire. But Connor broke the rule. Took your bullshit on the internet. Not bullshit. Maybe Sasquatch isn't real to us, but it was real to him. That's not how the truth works, Oates. Let me ask you something. How come you became a cop? Jimmy's shoulders relaxed. The fresh air lowered his guard, made him share deeper truths than the platitudes from his job interview. I hate liars. How much power they wield. My mom ran out on my dad. I caught on her excuses, but Dad always bought them. Couldn't stand how she manipulated him. He wanted to believe she loved him. She was his Sasquatch. Jimmy laughed. Or a man-eater. Huh? Come on, Hall & Oates? What about them? Jimmy shook his head. Never mind. I'm stuck in this field office until I raise my clearance rate. My partner says I give people too much benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's your Sasquatch, Oates said. Wanting to believe people. At least I'm not going off about chemtrails and tap water turning people gay. Folks who say that shit, they ain't got no religion in their lives, no mystery. They never go off the beaten path. So they shove Sasquatches in places where Sasquatches don't belong. To find a real Sasquatch, you need to search the unknown. Maybe it's the dope we're burning, but you're starting to make sense. Jimmy coughed. Probably the dope. Jimmy quenched the fire. His head swam with a lungful of bitter smoke. Damn, how strong's your pot? Pot's weak. It's probably the peyote. Peyote? Jimmy wobbled before his face hit the dirt. He spent hours unconscious, or staring at the stars, his whole life unwound like string cheese. He felt more content as each layer peeled off. The bar exam, the awkward dinners at home when he visited from college, his mother singing to him in the bathtub. A thumping splash in the river roused him. Oates, was that you? No, came a reply from the campsite. Not the anal probe. Mustering all his mental energy, Jimmy willed his body upright. Something waded into the river, something big. Something's over there, Jimmy whispered. Oates was lying on his back behind a log. Okay, fine, go ahead and use it. Jimmy staggered toward the riverbank. He didn't dare use his flashlight, but the gibbous moon of the river offered just enough illumination to see it. 7 feet tall, even hunched. Brilliant orange fur covered its back and long arms. Sir? Jimmy figured if it talked back, he'd know it was a hallucination. In his present state of mind, it seemed like a sound investigative strategy. The creature turned, revealing an orangutan-like face graying at the edges. Or, ma'am? Jimmy stammered, blinking at the creature's chest. Hold still, please. He fumbled for his phone. Why did they make them so difficult to turn on? He jammed his thumb on the home button only for an empty battery icon to appear. The Sasquatch watched with kind, wizened eyes. We booked a kid who saw you. You'll get in trouble if I can't prove you're real. She extended a massive hand toward him, touching the badge pinned on his vest pocket, which signed in the moonlight. Yeah, that's right, I'm a cop. Not a very good one. I hate locking people up. The Sasquatch smiled, exhaling a breath that smelled of fish and mulberries. Then she dove into the river, swimming with powerful strokes. No, wait! Jimmy waded in, but stopped as the water reached his waist. He was likely to drown himself in this state of mind. Plus, there could be alligators in here. Jimmy returned to the field office the next morning. He stared at the unfinished report on his desk, grappling with what to write. Would mentioning the Sasquatch even help Connor Creedy? Biggs wasn't taking him to court, and as far as the court of public opinion went, all Jimmy could offer was his word and his badge. His eyes widened. His badge! He scrambled through the desk for a fingerprint kit. With trembling hands, he dusted. Oh, here she comes, Jimmy sang as things took shape beneath his duster. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. The print covered his entire badge, too big for a human thumb. Oh, here she comes. He pressed the adhesive, practically jumping out of his chair as he lifted it with a massive print. She's a man-eater. The door opened. Guess you heard the good news, Sparky. Good news? Connor Creedy's first appearance was this morning. Biggs flashed a signed plea of delusion for him. Them defense attorney retainers get more pleas than us, Sparky. The air left Jimmy's chest. The kid wasn't lying. Sasquatch is real. I saw her. Her? Yeah, she had... Jimmy cupped his hands over his chest. Bigfoot had tits? Are we talking stripper tits or kind of saggy? I wasn't sure it was real until now. I got exposed to a peyote fire. Biggs raised an eyebrow. But I got a print. We should take it to Connor. Slow down, Sparky. Why don't you give me those prints? Jimmy scowled. Wait, you want to bury this? What happened to upholding the truth? The truth is what we can prove, Sparky. If you had actual evidence, I'd say go crack this open. But once you come out, we'll have hoaxers across the country filing post-conviction motions and lawsuits. It'll be open season on honesty. You want to bring that on the unit over a smudgy thumbprint and a peyote Bigfoot sex dream? Jimmy scowled and planted his feet. Biggs tapped his badge. Sparky, what does this say? Supervisory Special Agent. No, it says, give me the prints. Gritting his teeth, Jimmy opened his vest pocket. There were deeper truths to defend, his own Sasquatches defined. You want the prints? He tossed his badge on the desk. Dust them yourself.